Hey everyone, I am back and I have a fun, exciting recipe for you guys. Now, when you're on keto, you're always looking for good fat bomb recipes, especially sweet ones, chocolate ones, whatever you want to say. And a lot of times these fat bomb recipes need to be kept in the refrigerator. This weekend, my husband and I were talking, and he really wanted a chocolate bar. And we could get Lily's or we could, get the Polo or whatever it's called. But we don't, it's got erythritol in it, which adds carbs. And I know you can subtract them out, but they're expensive. They're not what we're looking for him. So he tasked me with trying to make a keto friendly chocolate bar that he could, just leave out on the table or at his desk or whatever, and it wouldn't melt. Because we know that with fat bombs, that is a really big issue. You either have to keep it in the refrigerator or the freezer, and it's just not friendly for taking to the office, especially when you have an hour plus drive through rush hour traffic. You know that they're going to get soft and maybe melt a little bit on the way there. So I said, I've got an idea. I'm not sure it's going to work. And I tried it last night and it was great. He loved it. It was shelf stable. We left it out on the countertop and it was still nice and hard and crispy. This morning it didn't melt at all. It didn't soften at all. I even gave it to my carbivore and she said, wow, that chocolate is really smooth. So it had a real nice smooth flavor to it. So I'm going to try to recreate that today. I didn't really measure it last night. I kind of just threw some stuff in. So I'm going to be more intentional about what I'm doing today. And hopefully we'll be able to recreate this yummy thing. So I want to start out by saying he does want chocolate bars. And because it's kind of a spur of the moment thing, we have no molds that look like chocolate bars, but I know you can get them off Amazon, and more than likely I will. But what we do have to make bars right now are these. Can you see what they are? Yeah, they're Han Solo and carbonite. Yeah. So they're just like little bars, and he said they're a little too deep. He said just make them about half that thick. And I also got this one time, and I thought this might be a fun mold for the chocolate as well. And if I have anything left over, I've got this other mold, and this is going to be a great idea for Valentine's. So guys, if you're watching this, make this for your wife. Women, if you're watching this, make this for your husband or your spouse or your significant other. But I have this mold too. Isn't it cute? As a little heart. So more than likely I'll be making him a heart-shaped one in the next week or two, especially with Valentine's Day just 10 days away. So we thought, we're going to just make it a nice basic recipe this time, but there's a lot of things that you can do to add flavor to this. We like the Sweet Leaf brand sweeteners, and they have different flavors. They have coconut, they have caramel, they have chocolate, and they have other flavors as well. They even have fruity flavors, or Stir has fruity flavors. So if you wanted a fruit flavored chocolate, this would be an option as well. I don't recommend that you use extracts, because extracts, a lot of them have alcohol in it, so it doesn't harden. Now I know that when you use a regular fat bomb, you use it in a regular fat bomb, it doesn't harden, it doesn't work very well. Other things that you could do is you could chop up macadamia nuts, pecans, or walnuts and put them in the chocolate as well, so you could have a chocolate bar with nuts. So there's a lot of things that you could do. If you're going to do the caramel, you could sprinkle a little salt on top for salted caramel chocolate. So I want you to go ahead and play around with this recipe, and I want to know what you did. Did you like the recipe? What did you add to it? What flavor did you make? And I can't wait to hear how creative you guys are. But now I'm going to go ahead and show you what I did and how I did it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn you down. And here we go. There we go. Okay, so what I've got in this bowl is almost 70 grams of chopped up cocoa butter. You guys know I love my cocoa butter, and I'll just eat it just raw or just like this. But what we're gonna do is we're going to just go ahead and cut this up. And I'm using a serrated knife because it seems to chop it up a little bit finer, and it seems to work really well. So we're going to just go ahead and do that, and then we're going to put it in the microwave for a little bit. Now, cocoa butter is from the cocoa bean, and the cocoa bean, of course, is chocolate. So this is going to be, you know, your main ingredient. 70 grams of this is 69 grams of fat. So even though you're not getting a ton of fat, maybe in one little bar like this, you're still getting a good amount of fat. So what I'm going to do now that I've got this all chopped up is I'm actually going to put it in the microwave for 30 seconds at a time and stir it in between until it's all melted. And then when I come back, I will show you what our next step is. All right, so here is a minute and a half later, and because we haven't added anything extra like coconut oil or butter or MCT oil or anything like that, it's taking a little bit longer for everything to melt. So I'm gonna put this in. The more I stir it, you can tell it's starting to melt up really good. I'm gonna put it in for another, let's say 15 seconds, and I'll be right back to show you what our next step is. All right, so we're back. You're gonna hear my husband in the background. We've had an idea of something we can use to make these chocolate bars other than what we've already got. So we're going to try that as well. So the next thing we're going to put into this is the Hershey's Cocoa Special Dark Cocoa Powder. This is 3 grams of carbs per 1 tablespoon. So we're going to start off with 1 tablespoon to see how well that tastes, okay? So we're gonna just add that in. And we're gonna stir it until it's well incorporated, it's all melted, and it's nice and smooth again. Okay, so that looks really good. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put in stevia, and this is, I think this is the Kroger brand, and we really like the Kroger brand of the stevia blend, and I like liquid for this. I think it works better than powder. Powder can be a little granular, so we want to go ahead and use liquid, and I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, no, 3. We're going to start out with 3. We can always add more. We can't always take away. Now, darling, I need you to come over here and taste this and see if it's sweet enough for you. Come here, dear. Try this. Is this sweet enough? Okay. He says this is sweet enough. So, and it's chocolate enough?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and fill up our molds. He has actually gotten me a really great assortment of stuff that we're going to try to make chocolate with. There's this lid that we have for a divided container, and so we're going to try these. There's these lids. We thought that maybe this part, the bottom of this container, would be a good choice, as well as this part of the container, and it looks like this part of this lid too. So we've got plenty of options. If you don't have molds, we'll see how well these work. I'll pull them out and show you what they look like after. And so right now I am looking at my family mean mugging me, and it is cracking me up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take this by tablespoonful and put them in here. I think I'm filling these up a little bit too thick, but Oh well, he will survive. I don't care. They can be a little thick. Oh, what? You're giving me this look. Don't give me that look. I'm not doing well at this. I'm never good at filling up molds very well, I will tell you that. I don't think I have the patience for it. I'm gonna make this carbonite one really big, and but I'll be able to make this one a little bit thinner. Okay, so there's that one, and I'm gonna put that to the side. And then I'm going to pull, I think this one will be good, because it'll make 2 small ones and a nice bar size. Remember, he's the one that asked for these to be nice and thin, so that's why I'm doing them this way. I hope I have enough room in my freezer for all of these. This is funny. This is actually quite funny. Oh, that one worked well. And we will try this one as well. So when I say freezer, I really mean that, just because we're trying to get this cooled down quick. Not because that's where they have to be stored, and I will show you that as well once we get them out. So now what I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to take these and I'm going to put them into the freezer, and I'm going to let them cool down. And once they're cooled down and they're nice and solid, I will bring them out and I will show you what they look like. So I will be back in about 20-30 minutes, and I'll show you the end product. All right, I'm back and I have our chocolate done. It's been a couple of hours and I will explain why in a minute, but I just wanted to let you know that everything did turn out. My husband has actually been getting into it. This is part of the chocolate carbonite, the big thick bar that we made. As you can see, it doesn't really melt in your fingers. It is a little soft. It's not as hard as it was the first time we made it, and I don't know if that's just a timing thing. We need to let it set out a little bit longer. When I first took them out of the freezer, they did kind of break up and stuff. I don't know if they were just too thin or what the deal was. But we have a bunch of little pieces, so we could probably use these to make like chocolate chips for maybe a cookie recipe or something like that. But as you can see, they are a little soft. I don't know why. Last night when we made this, it was perfect. So I'm gonna let them sit out. Now, as you can tell, they're not melting in my hands, so they would still be a good shelf-stable thing. And I think if you just kept them in a container with a lid on it on your desk or whatever, that it would work. But I wanted to also show you how these worked. Again, we were trying to find different things without having to buy some more silicone molds. So this was one thing that we used, and as you can see, it did come out, and it came out pretty good. We've got a few different pieces, and there you go. So we've got that one, and then this is actually the bottom of a Tupperware container, and that one actually came out very well, and you can even see the writing on it, which is pretty funny. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave these out for a couple more hours to let these cold ones get to room temperature, see if these ones that are already at room temperature harden up. But and I'll kind of give you an update later about what all the result was of that. But overall, if you're looking for some chocolate that you can leave on your desk at work, or you know, just out on the countertop or whatever, you don't have to keep this fat bomb in the freezer or the refrigerator. These will stay and not melt on the countertop. So I hope you like this recipe, and you know, let me know if it worked better for you. Again, I'm so confused as to why it did not work this afternoon. Maybe it's just warmer in the house right now. Last night when we got home, it was late and it was cold in the house, so maybe that's one reason why. Because I'm cooking in the kitchen, and I've just pulled out my bacon. I've got the Instapot going with some turkey broth that we're going to be using this week. So I don't know. I don't know why it isn't as hard as it was last night. I was so excited. But it's still good, and he still likes the flavor of it. And it's something, again, that you don't have to put in the freezer. You don't have to keep it in the freezer or the refrigerator. You can keep it in a container on the countertop. So hope you guys have a good rest of the day, and we'll talk to you later.